Hey guys, I'm back for another video and welcome to Hypixel SkyBlock, and today I'm back for another tutorial, and this is 30 tips for getting better at Hypixel SkyBlock. Let's just get right into it. As of the Rift update, we have a new best way to level pets, and I say this in full confidence, best way to feed pets. So we all know about carrot candies. They've been kind of useless up until this point, but Catechus Feeder, it gives you an extra 100,000 EXP per ultimate carrot candy used, and it has 2 charges reloading after 20 hours. This is an infinitely applicable buff. There is no limit. It's not like regular carrot candy where, you know, there's a max of 10 of them. It puts NBT data on the item. Bad. With the feeder, it doesn't add any data to the item, so you don't see those ugly carrot candy symbols, and it just gives you free XP. Now, I would say this is the best way to level a pet, simply because yes, you're limited to 2 charges per day, but it's the quickest by far, other than flares, which you can't do without a Hyperion. So that's cool. Also, it really only works best for combat pets. This works for everything. So I did the math, and yeah, so I mean, just carrot farming in general, you are gonna have to buy with bits the actual item to upgrade it to ultimate. This is not cheap, which, by the way, if you're gonna do that, use code 30Virus in the Hypixel store for 5% off. You know, the quicker way to get cookies. Hey, anyways, sorry, I have to plug the code. But other than that, even including like the cost of booster cookies, this is by far the most lazy way to level a pet. Now, here's a little bonus tip that actually I haven't even counted in the video, but I would suggest you redeem it on the Crimson Isle, because then you're also giving EXP to a Kudra pet. I'd also suggest having a pet with the XP share on. I'm going to use it on a giraffe because I predict in the foraging update they're going to make him quite good. Oh, there's a confirmation screen now. Nice. And there you have it. Level 91 giraffe. I gave some XP to my Kudra and all my other pets which have EXP share. So that's cool. It is quite nice, though, compared to other methods of leveling pets. Very lazy. Yeah, sorry, Fezzy. You're going to have to cut out a lot of coughing. Speaking of Rift items, the Voodoo Doll and the Jinxed Voodoo Doll actually both have separate cooldowns. So I know that went really fast, but you can double up on Voodoo Doll uses, which is especially useful for this annoying little crap right here, the Barbarian Duke. So yeah, separate cooldowns means you can hit them quite frequently. This is very overpowered. Both of these items are stupid cheap, and with a good mage setup like what I'm using, this is all you really need. Plus maybe a Fire Veil one if you can afford it, but like, yeah, this is great. I mean, look at this, literally half health already. And especially with the, oh, I'm getting some help from there. I didn't even see that. But yeah, it's nice. Big recommendation there. Double up on Voodoo Doll. That's probably going to get patched soon, by the way, so don't get too excited. This one might sound kind of obvious, but it's something that I didn't really consider. If you're powder mining with the goal of maxing your Heart of the Mountain tree, you actually technically don't need to max the tree. So obviously this orientation is not normal. You typically want to have powder buff maxed out, and then you probably wouldn't want to have these two. If you're in the process of powder grinding, I would suggest this orientation. But powder buff is very expensive, and once you max out your actual powder, you won't need powder buff anymore. So what you could actually do is, like, instead of going all the way to like 20 million mithril powder or gemstone powder and like 12.5 million mithril powder, you can stop at like 18 million, 17.5 million. Maybe even, I don't remember. I think it might be 4 million powder to max this. So you might literally be able to max out at like 16 million powder, which would be really easy, because then once you're done, you could just, well, once you have like 16 million powder, is my guess off the cuff, then you could redo your Heart of the Mountain tree, unselect powder buff, and I would suggest getting Picovulus and Quick Forge, as well as Mining Speed Boost, Titanium, and Sanium, just because you can swap between the two depending on the grind you're doing. But yeah, the grind ends way sooner than you think it does. There's a new command they added to the game called GFS, which allows you to get a very specific amount of items from sacks. Now, I found a really nice use for this, and that's crafting the items that are not supported with the personal compactor in the Slayer stuffs. So for example, GFS null sphere 1024. Now I don't have 1024 because I've already crafted a ton of ovoids. So actually let's do 2048 for that one, and then you could do GFS enchanted obsidian and then 1024. So this is nice because you can just do /GFS for the obsidian, press T and then up twice, null sphere, craft it, do it again, craft it, maybe you run out of obsidian, GFS obsidian again. And it's way faster than clicking around in the sacks constantly. So there you go. Very nice, quick way to craft ovoids, golden carrots. You know, you can make red viscera. You can make tarantula web. I mentioned before that it's helpful to have Picobulus with a maxed out Heart of the Mountain tree, and I'm about to show you why. So let's say I want to level up my rock pet. He's only level 85 legendary. You know, not bad, could be better. You know what is bad though is this freaking lobby, but I could still work with it. Anyways, so Picobulus is kind of nice because instead of mining speed boost, the problem is when you max out your Heart of the Mountain tree, you're going to hit the soft cap for mithril, which basically means you're not going to mine it any more efficiently with more mining speed. So mining speed boost is going to do nothing. Whereas Picobulus is not great. Granted, its mining speed boost is better if you're not max speed already. But if you are, it's some benefit, which is nice. So for example, if I were to dig down like a few blocks here, boom. As you can see, I just broke 47 blocks there. And if you're mithril mining to level, for example, a rock, then it's a nice quick way to get more blocks broken. And here's the other thing too. With a blue cheese goblin omelet on your drill, you break 4 times the amount of blocks. So that right there could have broken 200 blocks, which is actually insane. I can imagine that's probably a nice second place for leveling pets. I would still probably guess Catechus Feeder would be better, but maybe not against mining pets. Maybe for mining pets, this is still the fastest way to level it, especially with like Picobulus with blue cheese. Another benefit of blue cheese goblin omelet is that it could be used to insta-mine blocks. Now I'm going to show you how. So here's a Mine of Divine I just randomly found, which is really convenient for the tutorial. Granted, I don't have a blue cheese because I'm Iron Man, so hey, give me a break. I'm at 47 out of 99. But let's assume I did. You want to equip a Bal pet. You want to have, obviously, Jaded Devon maxed out, glistening equipment maxed out. I need to recom this Rift necklace. Try to get your mining speed as high as possible, and then you're going to want to re-enable mining speed boost. If you have blue cheese, you can swap with one drill that has blue cheese, activate mining speed boost, switch to your drill, which in my case has a Sunnyside Goblin egg. And if you're in, for example, Mine of Devon, you can actually pop down here into the magma fields. And if you're in magma fields, Bal's ability is procced. And with the blue cheese, if you have a high enough mining speed, it will allow you to insta-mine gold, which is absolute insanity. That's a really quick way to get your gold collection up for G-Drag or for, I don't know, bank upgrades, whatever you need. This also works on obsidian, and the conditions are a lot less awful. I mean, you need to use a Scathe pet, which might make it harder, but again, if you have blue cheese, then there's a very nice spot for mining obby down here. So again, if you had blue cheese and you swapped, you can insta-mine obsidian. If you have, I believe, 7,500 mining speed before mining speed boost. So I'm still short by quite a bit, but that's, again, why you use blue cheese, because what blue cheese does is it makes it so that your mining speed is quadrupled instead of tripled, I believe, with mining speed boost, the ability. So there you go. Speaking of blue cheese, if you want to get one on an Iron Man profile, you're gonna be struggling to get blue eggs. Like I said, I have 47 of them for an Iron Man profile. That is really impressive. And the way I managed to do that is by joining a Discord server called Iron Man Sweats. It's not sponsored in any way. I'm just a fan of the service. You can sign up to get pings every time there's a blue egg that shows up. And then once you get a blue egg lobby, what people typically will do is they'll ping the role, which you should have. They'll put the chords, and then they'll either tell you P join and then a username, or they'll tell you to put your IGN in the little chat that pops up, and they'll invite you. I mean, it's been a godsend for me. There's no freaking way I'm gonna get blue cheese without this Discord server, and me bringing attention to it's definitely gonna blow things up. So hopefully you guys can help contribute. If you find any blue goblin eggs in very specific locations in Crystal Hollows, just make sure to let somebody on Iron Man Sweats know so that all of us Iron Man players can get it. I mean, obviously in a regular profile you could just buy the blue eggs, but hey, it's very helpful for Iron Man players. So this is less of like a life hack and more of just general advice. If you go into the Slayer menu here, let me show you the way I'm using my RNG meter. So I currently have my meter set to the exceedingly rare Ender Artifact Upgrader. Now, I want a Judgment Core really bad, right? I need it to get a Terminator and whatever. But if you're on an Iron Man profile, even a normal profile in some cases, to be honest, you're gonna want to set the meter to the rarest possible item that you want to get, which in my case would have been Ender Slayer 7, but RNG cared, I already got one. So I have it set to Upgrader, because what's gonna happen, right? The chance of this is so low that there's a good chance if I don't use meter, by the time I hit Enderman Slayer 9, I still won't have dropped one. So RNG meter set to this. Judgment Core, on average, people get like 2 or 3 of them by the time they hit Enderman Slayer 9. So I'm gonna be patient. The tip is basically to think long-term with your RNG meter, because that's very valuable. 500,000 Enderman Slayer XP and RNG meter is really not easy to get. So why waste it on a drop you're gonna get 2 to 3 times anyways if you intend on maxing the game? Here's another one that's kind of just a general suggestion. I actually want the admins really bad to introduce Atlas to the game, which is basically a system where the players check if someone's cheating. We really need a police station in the hub, and then you get a talisman or whatever, but that's not why we're here. So here's the thing, right? Getting ratted and attacked, having your account information stolen, is very easily avoidable. So this is just kind of a public service announcement. If you do not want to get ratted, it's really simple. Do not respond to an unsolicited message from anybody. There's been this thing going around recently, especially on Discord, well, some account claiming to be Hypixel, claiming to be a Hypixel bot or whatever, will tell you to verify your account information. Don't do that. Here's a general tip in life. Unsolicited messages, which means they messaged you first out of nowhere, 99% of the time are scams. They're trying to get you to give them your information, give them access to your Microsoft account. And here's the crappy thing, because of Microsoft being stupid, you can lose account access through the official Microsoft verification thing. So let's say you click a rat link from a Discord bot that's like, hey, verify your information, Hypixel signed into Microsoft, and it'll bring up the actual Outlook website that looks legit, and it is legit. But the problem is you're giving access to this third-party application that's not Hypixel, and they can use that to get into your account even without your password or login information. So be freaking careful. Do not give anybody access to your Microsoft account, even without the password and username and all that. Don't respond to any weird Discord messages, or any Discord messages for that matter. Don't respond to emails. Don't respond to people in the chat asking you for that's yeah. But if you want to be extra safe, you can enable 2-factor authentication for your Microsoft account, and that will be a pretty solid way to prevent your login information from getting stolen. Do not use the same password on Microsoft/Minecraft with other accounts. Let's say your Netflix has the same password as your Microsoft. That's bad, because what if Netflix gets hacked? Or maybe, better example, what if some smaller website like the Hypixel forums got hacked? Something like that is a lot less secure than a Google account or a Microsoft account. But if the passwords are the same, a hacker can take the leak, let's say it's from Chegg. Let's say you needed some homework done. There was a breach with Chegg, actually. So, good example. Let's say Chegg lost your password. They made your password public, and, you know, people are selling that information in the dark web. Thousands and thousands of people's logins. They have bots that check every big service for your username and password and to see if it matches. So don't share passwords between services. Get a password manager. I used to use LastPass, but they got hacked too. So my current recommendation, 1Password or NordPass. Those are not sponsored, but they're good. Yeah, so Hypixel Mojang will never ask you for your account information, literally never. Do not log into your Microsoft account with anything other than Minecraft or whatever client you're using, and even then, stick to freaking Badlion, and if you have to, I guess Lunar or Sky client or Forge, but Forge won't ask for login details. But just be careful, dude. Do not give your login away so easily. Don't trust anybody. People suck. Here's another suggestion that's kind of lame, but it's also true. Just always have Dwarf Turtle Shellmet on whatever pet you're using in dungeons. Like, I can't, especially floor 7, I can't describe how much slower your dungeon runs are just by getting knocked around places. Like, I don't really have any footage to demonstrate this, but my Golden Dragon has a Dwarf Turtle Shellmet on it, and it really should, especially in floor 7. Like, I would dare say your runs, if you're doing a solo run, which I don't know why you would, the XP is the same, but let's say you did a solo run and it took like, I don't know, 10 minutes to do a floor 6, it would probably take you like 7 to 8 just from switching to Dwarf Turtle Shellmet. Trust me, getting knocked around slows you so much in dungeons. So just have a Dwarf Turtle Shellmet every single time. Trust me, you won't regret it. It's so nice. Here's another thing that has to do with going in Crimson Isle. Make sure to redeem your bestiary milestones with a combat pet out, obviously. If you can, wait until Derpy. If you can, wait until Diana. Put a pet XP boost on it. Apparently that works. I didn't think so at first, but a lot of people said otherwise, so I guess just to be safe, redeem your bestiary milestones in Crimson Isle as well, because again, that EXP is shared between your EXP share pets and your Kudra pet. Hold a champion weapon out while redeeming if you want to level champion up. I already have champion 10 on pretty much every weapon that needs it. But if you don't have champion 10, redeem your bestiary milestone while holding a you could just do /BE, so you can be holding whatever you need. Let's say I wanted to level up my champion on AOTV, then I would redeem it here. And I can't, but take my word for it, I guess. Here's another general suggestion that's kind of just theoretical, I guess. If you're on a regular profile, don't sit on more coins than you have to. So obviously you're going to want 1 billion for G-Drag, but other than that, all your excess net worth, you should tie up in assets. This is something I learned in the world of IRL investing in the stock market. I put a bunch of money into a house. The house's value went up. Boom, profit. If I just kept that money in a bank account that was making no interest, inflation. Boom. So inflation's real in SkyBlock as well, and it moves way faster than in the United States. I mean, 1 billion coins a year ago is probably worth like 1/5 of what 1 billion coins now is worth. So I guess point proven, right? Tie up your coins and assets. Buy a Warden helmet. Buy a Turbinator. Buy something that holds its value and increases in value, because coins are just going to decrease in value as inflation continues to happen. That's just basic economics. Here's a little life hack that's been around pretty much for the entirety of SkyBlock, but I didn't know about it until just now. So let's say you're in a co-op and you got 5 people, best case scenario. Well, actually, maybe it's like 7 with the upgrades in the Elizabeth shop. I don't remember. But my point is, if you have a bunch of people on a co-op, you can actually level a pet decently fast. For example, let's say I had 4 co-op mates. I don't. But let's say I did. What you could do actually is you can make sure your other co-op mates are online and not on the island. So send them to the hub or whatever. And then what you do is you collect all your minions while holding your, in my case, I guess a G-Drag. Collect all your combat things. You dump a ton of XP into your Golden Dragon while holding a champion weapon, of course, while using, you know, combat XP boost, potion, all that good stuff, cookie buff. What you could do is then head to the hub, talk to one of your co-op mates, trade them the pet, and then they can log into the island, and then it will immediately give them all the combat XP again. So you're duplicating combat XP. Now, this one, all right, here's the thing, right? I'm not 100% certain as to the legality of this in terms of the rules. I'm just letting you know you can do it. If it's against the rules, Hypixel, let me know. Send me a DM. I'm going to cut it from the video if that's the case. But if it's fine, it's staying in. So if you're still seeing this and it's been a couple of days, chances are it's fine. But yeah, so what you could do is 5 times you can give the same XP to one pet. So, or in the case of whatever the max co-op count is, I really don't know. But you get the point. You can basically dupe minion-derived combat XP or any XP on a pet. Here's a nice one for people that mine Ruby and people that used to mine Armadillo before that was broken. If you have to mine in ways that involve a lot of lobby prep, for example, a Ruby route, it takes about 10-20 minutes to set up a Ruby route. Nowadays, actually, it takes less because bombs don't perma break gemstones, which is great. But I would suggest having a good stockpile of drill fuel and god potions. So I have like 2 stacks of biofuel here, which is more than enough for a for several mining fiestas. Again, now the Dillo mining's gone. But make sure you have excess fuel, because the last thing you want to do is run out of fuel mid-fiesta and then have to lose your lobby to go to the Gotraline Great Forge, whatever. Make sure to have the Abathon contact as well, obviously, so you can replenish your fuel from anywhere. Same goes for god potions. Don't be that guy that mid-fiesta runs out of god potion. Have some stockpiled in your potion bag. Here's one I can't demonstrate because I don't have it, but efficiency 10 on a diamond pickaxe, just a regular old diamond pickaxe, is a better stonk for dungeons. It insta breaks more blocks, basically. So I mean, I'm sure most of you know about stonking and especially ghost picking. I talked about this in a previous guide video where if you were to, you know, do this, woo, I have a ghost pick, and then I can break blocks and they stay permanently gone. And if you're, you know, YouTube rank, you can kind of abuse this a little bit and do this. But yeah, so this principle works in dungeons and people do it all the time. That's ghost picking. Other times you can, you know, ghost pick. Let's say there's a button behind these blocks. I could press the button through a wall. If there's a secret, I can get the secret through a wall. This also works with diamond pickaxe. And if you get 5 Silex and you get efficiency 10 on a diamond pickaxe, it's effectively a stonk that could break more things, including gold blocks instantly, which is helpful for getting more secrets. You can also do the same thing with a tree capitator, actually. Not a lot of people talk about this, but tree capitator is effectively a stonk, but for wood. So, for example, in the button puzzle room, you can actually break through the wood to press the button if you get stuck, and it's useful. You can use, they might have patched this recently, but I heard somewhere that they patched silverfish working in dungeons, so you might need to put some Silex on the tree cap as well, because you won't have haste 3. So I'm not too sure about that. If they did, you're gonna have to do your own testing on that. I'm not sure silverfish still works in dungeons. This is a do as I say, not as I do type situation. When you're doing Kudras, just take every reward, dude. Don't try to make a judgment of, oh, this is a crappy reward, oh, this is a good reward, because that's how you skip a fatal tempo book, because you didn't know that it was still good. Don't be me. Just take every reward. Go into Kudra with a ton of keys prepared. Trust me, you're gonna want the Kudra teeth. You're gonna want the armor sets, honestly, because you can redeem them for essence. If you can salvage them for essence, or they might have decent attributes, but maybe it's the wrong piece of armor, but that's fine. You can use it to level up the attributes and other types of armor. Just take everything. Take everything. You won't regret it. Keys are fairly cheap. Just do it. Trust me. Trust me. You're not... If you don't know what an item does in Kudra, still take it, just in case. I actually made a whole video about this suggestion. If you're on an Iron Man profile especially, but this really applies everywhere. If you drop a Necron handle, make sure that you craft every type of Necron blade at least once, and then redeem it in the museum. Put it in the museum first. For example, if I were to look up, I don't know, Hyperion. As you can see, I have all 4 wither blades. I have credit in the museum despite only dropping 1 handle on my Iron Man, but I get credit for all 4 because I crafted all 4, and between each craft I put it in the museum, so free XP there. This is fairly well known, but I want to talk about it anyways. I sometimes see people in the lobbies trying to kill star sentries to get Starfall. It's not good. Just if you want Starfall, aka beacon fuel, and you want to grind it relatively quick and also get a decent amount of money, it's not the greatest amount of coins, I would suggest killing treasure hoarders. There's 3 spawn points outside, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and then there's 3 more in this room. As you can see, someone else is doing this as well. So boom, missed that one, boom. Then you can go over here, boom, boom, boom. So that's how you grind Starfall. That's how you get Starfall the quickest. Also, every 7th, 14th, 21st, and 28th, from like midnight till like, I believe it's like 7 a.m., there's gonna be a cult meeting over here in this spot. And you can talk to the guys that show up here, put on a Star Sentry helmet. They'll give you roughly a day's worth, like a day and a half's worth of beacon fuel. So if you want to maximize the amount of Starfall you get, make sure to have alerts set up for every SkyBlock day that's a multiple of 7, from like midnight to like 7 a.m. This is a rift suggestion, which I can't demonstrate in the video because the waypoints are gone. I deleted them already. But if you want to get the lava parkour talisman and the mirror verse in the rift, you could just set waypoints. It doesn't change. You can look up at the ceiling, see where you're supposed to jump, and just make a waypoint there. While in the less difficult mode, where it doesn't disappear from underneath you, it's going to take about a half an hour. In BLC, you can do that. You can set up a bunch of waypoints, and then you could just, you know, parkour with the waypoints. It's so much easier. One that I actually can demonstrate with my free rift entry here. Let's head down here, go to the farm, the Baba Yaga. When fighting Volts, you actually, the way to kill them is honestly just get them down to half health and then run away. And then just attack all of them. For example, here's another one. Attack them to the point where they start their little lava attack, or not lava attack, lightning attack. And if you just run out of the radius, they don't kill you. So you can actually just take them down to half health, run to the next one, take that one down to half health, rinse and repeat. For example, boom, took no damage, killing them very quickly. That's the best way to kill Volts, is just to basically just stay away until they're done with their stupid lightning thing. You don't have to participate in that. While I'm here, if you're doing Vampire Slayer, there's some general advice I have for you. So when doing Vampire Slayer, there's this drop that you can get, and it's called the McGrubber's Burger, I believe. Now, if you want to maximize the amount of motes you get, which trust me, you want to do, Rift Shen sucks, don't sell any melons. So vampiric melons are a drop from all the mobs that basically that you have to kill in order to spawn the Slayer for Vamp Slayer. For example, the splatters, I believe, thralls, all that. It drops vampiric melons. Save all of them. At least turn them to enchanted melons so it takes up less space. But yeah, so the way the McGrubber's burgers work is basically they increase the amount of motes you get from the mote scrubber. So just save up all of your melons until you have all 5 burgers consumed, and then you can sell your vampiric melons to get the most value out of them. Again, you don't want to waste all of those valuable motes, because you're gonna have to spend like 1 billion of them just to get a stupid talisman. It's really annoying. Well, not literally 1 billion, it's like 1 million, but still. Here's another one that's kind of obvious, but I want to point it out. The Rift Necklace. You can buy multiple of them if you go to Rusty, so let's get out of here. Once you've gotten 1 Rift Necklace, you can go to Rusty and actually buy more of them. So here it is, Rift Necklace. You can buy it for 100,000 coins. Now that's good because it's the highest rarity necklace in the game. So what you could do is, for example, I have a strengthened one here, which is my damage one. I have Quantum 5 on it. This is going to be my fishing one, so I could put Festive or Snowy, whichever one applies to equipment, on this. I have a 3rd Rift Necklace equipped right now with Glistening on it because, again, it's the best. It's the highest rarity, so you get the most out of your Reforges. So this is how you get the most Mining Fortune, the most Strength, the most Sea Creature Chance and Fishing Speed. the most of everything. So pretty much every single set in the game, you're going to want to do 3/4 of something else and then Rift Necklace, except for Lotus. You're going to want all Lotus, and I guess Vanquished. If you go with Vanquished, you still want to use all of that. Another thing they added in the Rift was placeable fairy souls. Now, the way these work is it's basically like a century cake. So you can, for example, if I were to visit Cake Hub, I'm sure you guys know about Cake Hub, the island that completely rebranded as ThirtyVirus once they found out I was using it. So, you know, these you can consume them every so often, whatever. It's placed by another player on the island. This applies to the placeable fairy soul as well. So, fittingly, if you do /visit time Dio, there's a fairy soul right here. I already have it, but it does actually count as a fairy soul. So there you go. Placeable fairy soul on Time Dio's island. How fitting. Now, I believe there's also one on Minicloon's island. There's a few other islands that have it, but this is the easiest one because it's right there. Spending grands on these dimensional infusions is so much better than the bits if you have mage faction rep, because yeah. Anyways, there's a very specific spot that I would like to show you. Let's go to the Gillman. So I'm sure a lot of you guys have already done this, but for those that haven't, there's a system in the game where basically instead of fairy souls, there's enigma souls. You talk to the mushroom guy, and basically what you have to do is go near a bunch of mushrooms to get them to turn into bigger mushrooms. Something like that. I don't quite remember how to do it, to be honest with you. But this Enigma Soul is kind of annoying to get, but as it turns out, you can use the Silk Larva system. Oh, that's not... There we go. You can use Larva Silk and the Silk Wire Stick. Okay, let me make sure I could find it real quick. Oh, there's the Enigma Soul. This is how you normally get the Enigma Soul, by the way. I don't think it's that difficult to do, but if you are struggling with it, then I guess here's an alternative way to do it. So let me just quickly do the parkour. It's not that bad, honestly. Like, yeah, that was relatively easy, honestly. But if you are still struggling with it, what you could do is just Larva Silk your way. So right click on the side of the block, right click on the side of that block, and then Silk Wire Stick your way over, and then you could get the Enigma Soul if you're struggling with that. You're going to need to farm a lot of Wilted Berberis to progress in the Rift. So here is a suggestion on doing that. This specific spot right here is the best one. When it comes to Wilted Berberis, you want to farm in the smallest possible area because these spawn in the most predictable places, and you can almost predict where it's going to respawn based on the order that they respawn in. So for example, now I can watch where they respawn. Now watch this. Boop, 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 boop. And that is way faster than any other method of farming Wilted Berberis. You get better at it. You get better at it as you continue doing it. But you can also just guess. You don't have to fully memorize the orientation. You can just break them. And they're so close that you can just swing by and get all of them. So yes, that is the best way to get Wilted Berberis. Now there's other spots. Let's say that one is taken. This one's not bad. This one's slightly better than that. I believe there's one over here that's slightly better than that. This one's the worst. Do not farm in this one. Yeah, this one's decent. This is the second best spot, I believe. Here's another useful one. If you're down here killing Frozils, do not use the pickaxe to break the ice blocks. You're about to see what I mean. I already have the upgraded weapon, which is like the Vampire Slayer thing, but look at this. You see that? That was quick. That was extremely quick. I broke through all the ice pretty much instantly. But the problem is, the weapon that you have before the sword is a pickaxe. And the act of using a pickaxe to break a block, which in vanilla Minecraft insta-breaks to a pickaxe, it actually kind of bugs things out. So make sure you punch the ice with your hand if you don't already have a karambit, because literally that ice breaking phase is going to be like 4 times slower otherwise. So let's say you want to farm a lot of crops, right? I mean, I'm sure most people at this point know you should have 5 plots in a row that just, you know, are the same, so you can run as far as possible without having to turn around. Let's say you want to have a nice setup for farming, right? You have a cocoa bean farm, orient yourself 45-degree angle, 155 speed, all that good stuff. You can actually save your spot. I mean, most people know this. But for those that don't, you can save your spot with a /set home. So if I were to, for example, warp garden, I set my home to this specific spot so I can have the perfect angle, negative 180 degrees, and negative 45-degree angle. And then I just, you know, the other trick too is you can go to your control, swap your space and your left click, and then I turn my mouse to the side just to verify that I don't. Oh, that'll happen. Here, let's warp garden again, just to verify that I am not moving the mouse. I turn it to its side. I could also switch to my fermento armor. Gonna have to have my speed at 155, press spacebar and hold it, and then boom, I'm farming cocoa beans at the max efficiency. Look at that. So yeah, that's really nice. Let's say you want to farm something else. I don't know, sugarcane, right? Sugarcane's a nice one. You can also, so instead of cocoa bean, let's get sugarcane hoe. Set my speed to 327. Let's say I want to set up the angle for this. Now, there's no teleport pads left in the, or they don't work in the game anymore. So what you actually have to do now to farm this in the best way possible, I'm pressing my A and S key at the same time, and I'm changing my angle here until I stop moving. Once I'm perfectly still, there we go, not moving, press E. Now my angle's perfect, right? If I press A and S at the same time, I just stay perfectly still. Then what I can do is /set spawn, boom. Then I press spacebar, move forward at 327 speed, boom. Now I'm farming at the max efficiency. But what I could do now is, let's say I make it all the way to the end, right? And I run out of forwards, backwards sugarcane farm. I can /warp garden, then walk backwards, and I made a hole. So then I fall down to the level below, and then I get to farm all of that again, and then /warp garden, and then I can just do this again. So there you go, some general farming tips for you. And the last one, which I think is probably, I wouldn't say it's the best. It's pretty much tied with the rest of them. It's still very good. Would highly recommend. So let's say you are mid-contest, or maybe you just got 5 visitors or 6 and you want to have max efficiency. You don't want to let them sit there and not, you know, redeem progress towards another visitor. You can actually /TP to plot 4. And that will spawn you right in front of your visitors. So you can immediately just boom, boom. Move your mouse to the side, /warp garden, and then you're ready to go. Already you're back to farming. Then let's say you have more visitors. You can TP to plot 4, turn around, redeem the visitors. So that command's really nice. Instead of having to fly all the way over and ruin your angle, you can set your speed and your angle beforehand with the set. You know what I mean? Oh, here's one that you probably didn't know. The max visitor queue is technically 6, not 5. So let's say you did have 5 visitors here. You can't see it in the tab list, but it is actually counting down the timer to a 6th visitor. So technically speaking, if you're actively farming, say sugarcane, then you can wait like 3 minutes extra, 3 to 4 minutes extra after getting to 5 visitors, because there is a 6th one that's in the queue. And then once you redeem one of the visitors, they'll immediately pop up. So I guess that's just 20% less times you have to sprint over here or TP to plot to redeem visitors. So that's nice. If you're an Iron Man player like me and you just randomly have a Daedalus Axe with Chimera 2 on it, but you don't have like max farming equipment, join the club. But this is actually the best tool in the game for farming mushrooms specifically. The fungi cutter is actually terrible. It's awful. You have better farming fortune with the Daedalus Axe, believe it or not, because if it gives you, for example, if you were to have an elephant pet out, the Chimera and the Daedalus Axe ability will just give you a ton of farming fortune. So right now, I have 952 farming fortune now, and if I hold the Daedalus Axe, it goes to 1036. So Yeah, quite nice. It could be better if I put my Lotus equipment on, though, but I'm too lazy. Speaking of farming, if you're doing that for an extended period of time, I would suggest chasing the best overall value per hour, not necessarily farming fortune. So what do I mean by that? That means prioritizing mushroom cow pet over elephant, because you might get less farming fortune overall with the mushroom cow, but those extra mushrooms that you get, the 100% chance to drop a mushroom per crop break is effectively 100 farming fortune specifically for mushroom. Now that will make you more money per hour, or in the case of Iron Man players, it will mean that you never have to farm mushrooms because you'll just get them passively, and it's helpful for visitors and the composter. So 100% would recommend mushroom cow with the best strength reforge as well if you have it. Acacia birdhouse, forceful. So I would suggest doing that. And on top of that, you've probably noticed, all of my farming tools have bountiful on them. Now, again, it doesn't give as much farming fortune, but the coins that you get is far better of a value than the amount of crops extra you're going to get with a little bit more fortune. So TLDR, prioritize the money per hour instead of just the crops per hour. I would even suggest this during long farming sessions like Spaceman. Just always, trust me, always farm with bountiful and mushroom cow if you have it available. It's just better. You make more money. You have more benefits overall instead of chasing just the one stat. And with that, that's it for the video, guys. So leave a like down below if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already. And of course, use code ThirtyVirus in the Hypixel store. If you intend on buying cookies, you'll get 5% off. It's pretty nice. I've actually used my own code several times, believe it or not. It is kind of nice. But anyway, I guess that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys later.